Innovation, imagination, wonder. These are just some of the words used to describe Dr. Harvey Passes. Dr. Passes explores interesting people and ideas that will stimulate you. He questions the people who develop, create, and employ novel concepts in business and everyday lives. He especially loves to speak with successful people. How did they do it? How can you do it too? So let's join Dr. Harvey Passes in his quest of wonder and curiosity as we watch Dr. Harvey Passes Presents.
So the other day I get a letter in the mail, and I look at the logo, and I look where it's addressed, and I go, gee, this looks familiar, but yet it's not, and I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at. And then I open it up, and it's a request to join an organization, a local organization. And I read some more, and it's a local not-for-profit organization in Manhasset. I'm reading some more. And it turns out it's something that I thought was just dead. I didn't even know that it existed. And it was the Manhasset Chamber of Commerce. And you say, Manhasset Chamber of Commerce, what's the big deal? Well, you know, I live and I work in the area here, and it is a big deal. And I just became interested, so I called the co-president up. His name and number were there. And I called him up, and he was gracious enough to come on down to my office. And we spoke all about the Manhasset Chamber of Commerce and what's happening and how this organization to me is like Lazarus coming up from the dead, and how fabulous it's going to be, and how wonderful, and again, as I like to say, the features, advantages, and benefits of this organization. So after having a conversation with this gentleman who you're going to meet in a minute, I said, why don't you come on TV with me? Let's talk about it so that people in the area could see, and they could see if it's something that they would like to be a part of and that could help them, help the town, help the community, help the schools, help our children. It all gives back to the community. I'm a firm believer in that. And Les Forrai, who you're going to meet in a moment, said, I love it. And you're going to learn today about what we're going to be doing, his organization, with me joining, and what we can do, and how it all comes back to you as members of the community. So let's give a big Manhasset welcome to Les Forrai. Les, how are you?
How you doing?
Terrific. I'm so glad that you decided to come down.
No, I'm happy to.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Let me tell the people at home just a little bit about who you are and what's going on. Les Forrai is the co-president of the Manhasset Chamber of Commerce, along with a gentleman named Bernard Ralston. Ralston or Ralston?
Ralston.
Ralston. Is it Bernard or Bernard?
Bernie.
Bernie Ralston is your co-president.
Right. And
you're also the owner of the Manhasset Minuteman Press.
That's correct.
Terrific. So first, what is the Chamber of Commerce of Manhasset? I mean, how long has it been in existence?
Well, I actually have my crack staff working on that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's probably between 50 and 60 years old.
50 and 60 years old?
It's a very old community. Manhasset's been around forever.
Yes.
It's in the 1800s.
Right.
And
no, it isn't. 1600s.
Okay, but the
Right.
downtown area,
Right.
basically the stores and things like that.
Okay.
And, I'm not sure when it started, to be quite honest.
Because if you see it on the Quaker Church,
Right.
Quaker Meeting Halls, it was founded right there in that spot in the 1600s.
Right, and there was a cow meadow, there was a
That's
fence
right.
with a lot of cows.
You had to
and
watch
stuff
where you walked, but go
right,
ahead.
exactly.
Go ahead. So,
and as I said, it's been around a long time, and it is an organization of business owners and as well as charitable organizations and other people who are interested in to benefit the town, the whole community, and uplifting, the business atmosphere,
Right.
so to speak, of the community.
right. So now this organization, I've lived in the area here for about 30 years.
Right.
And my dental practice was in Manhasset for about 15 years.
Right.
Now it's in Great Neck because the building came down. But so I'm a real Manhassetite or Manhassetan or Manhasseter.
Right.
I really don't know what you call us, but I didn't even know there was anything like this. So now all of a sudden it's being resurrected, and you helped to resurrect this?
Well, I really,
Explain.
I sort of disagree with the resurrected part.
It's
been right.
Clarify it.
It's been going along just very nicely, and I really don't want to say anything bad about people that came before me.
Fine.
They're
Fine.
good people,
Right.
well-intentioned. They've
Right.
they've had a lot of nice programs in the community.
Right.
What I'm just trying to do is move the chamber in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm in the printing business, I'm involved in a lot of advertising, direct marketing. So I try to rejuvenate the image of the chamber.
Right.
So we've come up with a brand new logo, a brand new look. We're going to have a new website. The website is sort of antiquated. It's been around for, since websites began pretty much and hasn't been updated pretty much, but we do a lot of work with websites. So we're trying to have a new high-tech website that'll actually work to promote business on Plandome Road, on Northern Boulevard, and the Americana, which is
Right.
the three separate components of business,
Of commerce, right.
in Manhasset, basically.
Right.
So-
I think this is great.
Mhm.
I think this is great. So that now you and Bernie Ralston are at the helm
Right.
of putting this thing together.
Right.
How long have you been a member?
Well, I've been a member, I guess, since I have my business in Manhasset, about 10 years, a little over 10 years.
Okay.
But I think pretty much an inactive member. So I would just send in the dues every year.
And that's the end of it.
And that's the end of it, and hopefully something will happen. Maybe I would go to an event or two, but sometimes they have a business card exchange every few months, and I
Right.
go to that once in a while. But that's it.
But that's
So,
it.
right.
Now, what's the purpose of the chamber today?
Okay. Basically, the chamber is, and we just worked on a new mission statement, so I think it has three purposes. The number one and most important purpose is the welfare and prosperity of its member businesses and organizations. The second purpose is the beautification of the community and the vitality of the community. And the third purpose is to be an advocate with local government. So if we want to change the way the traffic is going, or if there's a dangerous situation, or there's parking problems, we can address that with the parts of our chamber that will.
So you function then as a voice
Right.
of the people who are in commerce in the area where,
Right.
and maybe even for other areas of the township, to let people know, to let the government know that we need something done. And
Right.
I'm not speaking to you as an individual one. I'm
Right.
speaking to you as a member of hundreds.
Right. And
If not more.
there is a big traffic study going on with the town of North Hempstead at the moment about Plandome Road, which is a street that has, unfortunately, had a lot of traffic accidents because the traffic has increased dramatically over the last 10 years. And cars turning in all different directions, and driveways, and coming out, in and out. So there's been a lot of dangerous situations. So the town of North Hempstead is having a whole traffic study that would not only be to reroute the traffic of turning lanes, maybe dividers, grassy dividers, medians, but to also make the street, a lot nicer. If Plandome Road is our downtown area,
Right.
It's small town America, even though it's here
It
in
is.
Long Island.
Yeah.
And but if you went there, you'd never know it was like sort of a thriving, affluent community. The buildings are all different shapes and sizes and styles. There's nothing that sort of connects it. But I think if the town starts a beautification program, grassy medians, turning lanes, street lights, whatever, I think that will catch on, and it will just continue throughout the community. We'll have a constant renewal.
I couldn't agree with you more. When I drive down Plandome Road, and I drive down other streets
Right.
in other towns,
Right.
and there are some towns you drive down, you go, oh, how sweet, how quaint. I tell my wife, let's pull over here. Let's walk through the town.
Right.
And you walk through the town. And what do invariably? You window shop, then you wind up from window shopping.
Right.
You do business. Maybe
Right.
you'll say, let's grab lunch. Let's go into the shop and buy this. Let's do that.
Right.
And commerce goes on
Right.
because the town was inviting. I haven't really seen that over the
Right.
years, and I'd love to see that happen now. So this is something that you feel the chamber will help to improve upon.
Right, and then they're also very interested. There's parking problems in Manhasset.
Yes,
I think
parking's terrible.
I think they've resisted putting like a parking garage or more parking because they're always afraid that people will park to go on the Long Island Railroad. But that could be avoided very easily,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I mean, you could have parking starting at 10 o'clock, shoppers parking, then people are not going to work at 10 a.m. They're
Correct.
going earlier. So there's a lot of things they can do, but they, you know, if you go to Great Neck, they have parking. It's a beautiful little town. They have a lot of stuff going on. And I'm not saying we want to be like Great Neck, but we want to have that small town.
More vitality,
small town atmosphere.
Right.
I know a lot of my customers just turn their car around and drive out of town because they can't park.
They
give up. They'll go to that shopping mall. They go to Roosevelt Field. They go you know.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, and
I agree with you.
It's very difficult, especially during the holidays when we do a lot of our business. Maybe, you know, we also have an invitation business, and we do maybe 20%, 20, 30, 40% of our yearly invitation business during then, and when people can't park. You know, so it's counterproductive.
Right.
You know.
Now, why should anyone join the chamber?
Well, I think it's extremely important for people to join the chamber. I think some of the problems we have nowadays is that we're, as small business owners, and we're not all small businesses, we have banks and things like that, but generally small business owners, we're attacked from many different fronts. The internet, big box stores, Home Depot, big chains, you know, Staples, Kinko's, whatever, you know. And
stop giving out all these names.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody knows them.
I know, of course.
And I have nothing against them. They're trying to make a living, have a business. It's fine. But we have a right to also make a living. And I think the only way we can combat that is if we join together and have advocacy and share our skills and knowledge and sort of do exactly like what Staples does. I'm sorry to use the name. But on a small scale, where they want to have like top of the mind awareness, where people, when you think of office supplies, you think of Staples first. And why? Because they're constantly advertising, emailing you, and so on, and they have a multi-million-dollar budget to do that. As small business owners, we can't do that nationwide, but we could do it locally. I send out a newsletter. As the chamber, we could have a beautiful chamber website. We could have people coming to our website. We could have networking meetings. We can do business with each other, which is, I think, the most important thing. If people in town do business locally, if the businesses do business with each other, then we'll all be fine.
Right.
So this is the way we combat sort of the attack by other businesses.
So am I safe to say that it's very hard these days to be a small business owner on Long Island?
Yeah, it's very difficult. And not just in Long Island, I think anywhere. I mean, but especially in Long Island because the property values are very high, so the landlords have to charge a lot of rent. Their taxes are astronomical. And, you know, as much as, renters like to complain about their landlord, when you talk to the landlord, he complains about the government. He says, "Well, I'm not charging you because I'm greedy. I have like $50,000 in taxes on this little building,
Right.
So there, it's a
spiral. It's a domino.
Yeah, it's a domino, and it's a very difficult place to do business. And we just can't charge anything we want because we have competition from the internet, from discount stores. So we have to charge a fair and reasonable price.
Right, to do business.
Right.
Be competitive.
Right. So what we want to do is increase our business and make connections with local people, do a lot of networking locally. And that's the other purpose of the chamber, in my mind, is networking. That's one of the biggest reasons to be in the chamber.
Right.
We can have meetings. We'll meet each other. People want to do business with their friends, with people they know. If you come into my store, you place an order, I know you. I'm not going to fail you. I'm not going to miss your deadline. I'm going to make sure your meeting goes well when you need that brochure or that business card.
Because we've set up a relationship.
Right. That's right.
That's the key.
Exactly.
You go into these big stores that you mentioned earlier.
Right.
There's no relationship.
No.
None whatsoever. You walk in and you're worse than a number.
Right.
You walk into a local store. Hey, Doc, how are you?
Right.
Les, what's doing? How's your family?
Right. It's a personal relationship, and I have relationships with customers, since the day I started. They're still coming back 10 years, and we do everything we can to keep them.
Well, what I said that I wanted to do with my show was to help out the chamber by letting people know that the chamber exists, and to, from time to time, have a business come on and to have one of the principals involved discuss about their business, to educate and to inform the public, not to discuss, I'm running a sale next week,
Right.
and come on down, I'm giving everything away free,
Right.
but rather to inform what it takes to do business. If we say that it takes a lot to do business as a small business person, what does it take? And the more that people know, the more they learn, be terrific. So I asked you to come down to be our first to discuss about the printing business. And the printing business on Long Island, especially in Manhasset. And so that what it takes when, like, who would come to you? Why would they come? What are the services that a small business would provide? And I want to discuss that with you. But before we do that, Les, before we get into the details, I want to just let my crew know that from time to time during our discussion, I would appreciate it, because I know you want to see it at home, the address for the website called manhasset.org. So you'll get a chance to see it. So from time to time, my crew will put that up, and that would be the website, www.manhasset.org.
Right.
Okay. So let's now focus on what you're doing. When you do printing, do you do all the printing on site?
No, because that's sort of impossible to do. But we do a lot of printing. Basically, we have a storefront. We have two locations. We have a storefront where we do all the customer relations. We take the orders. We do proofs for the customers. They come in, they approve the proofs, and we do all our pre-press stuff to prepare for the printing. And then about a block away, we have a warehouse where we actually do most of the printing.
So it's in Manhasset.
Right, in Manhasset.
Everything is in Manhasset.
Right,
okay.
but the way the world works today is, since the internet has come around, it's a fabulous tool, especially for printing. The technology is amazing. So what happens now is that I can't have every printing press in the world.
Correct.
But I have access to every printing press in the world.
Right.
So now my computer is the control panel to the world. You can come in, we can design something, and let's say you wanted something that could only be printed in China, let's say.
Funny you should mention the name of that country, but
go
ahead.
We could probably set up this catalog and print 500,000 of them in China and have it come in, But I just wanted to give an extreme example.
Yes.
But we do business with companies in California, in Florida. But I would say 80% of what we do is produced right in-house, either digital with machines that are first-generation prints, digital, Xerox, Canon, those kind of machines, or on offset presses. So we do both. But if a job is too big for us, sometimes you need to print something on a very big sheet.
Right.
So then we go to we try to be as local as possible. We have some local partnerships with other printing plants in the area.
No names.
And that can put 16 of your letter on one huge sheet of paper, and maybe if you need 50,000, it'll be much more economical for us to do it that way. And they give us a wholesale price because their presses aren't busy all the time. So everybody makes out. If you went directly to them, they would charge you the same thing that you would pay with us, except we're kind of the manager of your job. We're the contractor, so to speak.
Who are the clients that you serve?
Well, we serve, basically two types of clients. One is generally a business client, and why I went into the printing business, first of all, is because somebody told me, you know what, you could walk down the street, walk into every single business, and every one of them will need some kind of printed material, at least a business card or a letterhead or a postcard or something.
It's true.
So and the other reason was I really didn't want to work 7 days a week, like in a donut shop or something like that. So that's really, the reason I went into the printing business, because so that, and so every business is my customer. But the second, we specialize, we sort of have a niche with nonprofit organizations. So basically we try to make our money from profit-making organizations because they care more about timeliness and quality. And we deal with nonprofits at a discount because they care more about the money, because they're trying to raise funds, not spend them.
Right.
So we try to cut our prices as low as possible. I usually say, cut until it hurts, And then we're also doing a good deed. We're being nice guys. We're helping the cancer volunteers. We're helping other organizations that we deal with, and it's so those basically are two types of customers. Business customers that care more about timeliness and quality, and we give
charitable.
We give a great deal to charitable organizations, and we deal with them. And we do mailing services as well, so they usually mail out a lot.
Let's discuss what you do that relates to the chamber, that relates to the community. Do you ever do any work for the town, like the school or something like that?
Well, St. Mary's High School. St. Mary's, yeah, we do a lot of work for St. Mary's, which is a local, and we do some work for the Manhasset High School.
Right.
And really, the print shop is almost like the business center of the community. So every business at one time or another will come in. They want to do a mailing, a postcard, their letterhead, their business card.
Right.
So it's almost like a networking place. People meet there all the time. But
you should have coffee and set up.
We should, but the bagel guy next door would be very upset.
Buy the bagels from him. Network.
I do, yeah, I do. But we do a lot of stuff for the schools, and but more like in the fundraising area. We do journals. We print journals for them, and that brings in a lot of money for the school. We do all their mailings. So what's nice about what we do is we do everything from start to finish. So somebody will come in and say, look, I have an idea. We'll come up with a concept. We'll have proofs. They'll approve it, change it, and then we'll print it. Like we'll print a letter, an invitation, a response card, a response envelope.
Direct mail.
And then we'll stuff all that into an envelope, seal it. We'll get mailing lists for them. We'll address it, and we'll take it to the post office. So they don't have to do anything. And the best part is the post office helps support, especially nonprofit organizations.
Explain.
Because if you have a nonprofit permit, you can prove to the post office you're a nonprofit organization. You can mail things as cheap as maybe 8 to 10 cents a piece.
You're kidding.
Right. So the post office actually makes no money on nonprofit mailings. They help charities just like we try to do it. We cut our prices to help them, and the post office. Right. The post office will cut their prices dramatically. Instead of 39 cents or even bulk rate, which is like 22 cents, they'll cut their prices all the way down to 8 to 10 cents a piece to mail nonprofit mailings, because those people are trying to get funds in to help people with cancer, help children, leukemia, whatever.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fascinating, interesting. This is good. So I'm glad we're having this conversation so I can learn all these things. What are some of the challenges? We've discussed all the things that go on. I see you smiling.
Right.
But what are some of the challenges of small business ownership?
Yeah, well, the rent is a big challenge. And not just the rent. The insurances have gone up, dramatically. You probably know.
What about health insurance?
Health insurance, it's unbelievable. And you can't, you'd love to, I want to be great to my employees. I would love to give them a full, $1,000 a month, but I'd be out of business.
You want to cook dinner for them. You want to do everything.
Right. As long as they do their job and I could satisfy my customers, I'm so happy. I want to do everything for them, but it's almost impossible. Because with the health insurance and the workman's compensation, and we have so many bills. Sometimes you feel like you're just filtering money. Like a ton of money comes in, another ton goes out the back, and two drops fall out for you.
Yeah, that's true. People don't see that. They don't realize that in small business. They think that you're sitting there and you're just rolling in dough, and not realizing the challenges that are there. And the cost of doing business today is a fortune. And I applaud you and Bernie Ralston in trying to reconstruct or rejuvenate the chamber, Manhasset Chamber of Commerce, because in these actions, people will work together. And in working together, they will accomplish maybe more things to help cut costs. Help get services for each other, and to help work together and to do
share knowledge.
Share the knowledge, like we saw in one of the food shows,
right.
The food organization.
Yeah.
Share the knowledge. I think that's absolutely important. It was just out of curiosity, without getting too much into your business, but you're a franchisee.
Right.
Why didn't you just start your own business as opposed to buying a franchise?
Well, there's a great reason for that. Is because I didn't know a thing about the printing business.
You mean you went into this thing without even knowing what it's
about?
Nothing.
I was actually in the limousine business. And I searched around for about a year to get into a business. And years ago, I had like a business that failed, and I didn't want to do that again because that's not fun at all. So I wanted to limit my risk as much as possible. And the franchisees, 9 out of 10 franchises make it, where 9 out of 10 new businesses don't make it.
I didn't know those statistics. No kidding.
Right.
9 out of... Oh,
Right.
wow.
And then what I did to even minimize my chance of failure even further is I didn't even start a new franchise. I bought one that was already existing.
Oh.
So I bought a franchise. You have people to help you if you have a problem.
Right.
They're always there. They're there for training. They're there. And plus the name recognition is a big thing today. Just like we talked about Staples and other things like that. You know, we don't buy donuts from Joe's Donuts. We go to Dunkin' Donuts, and you know, I know you don't want me to say too many names.
Yeah, but you're doing a good job.
I'm sorry about that. But generally, that's the way of the world today. It's brand recognition, and that's basically what a franchise does. It gives you the brand recognition, and you pay them a small fee every month for that, and they're always there to help you. So, business I had before when I didn't do so well. I was doing poorly, I had nobody to ask. Who's going to help you? You know, which is terrible. This way, you know, I'm having and it's happened here where business was down a little bit. I went to the franchise. What do I do? Help me with the marketing. What are the things I should be doing?
And they listen.
And they listen, and they have a program. So look, do this. And that's part of the reason getting back to the chamber is how I got involved in all this, because one of their main things is networking. So I started getting involved in a networking group. And I realized that this is fantastic. You know, I'm meeting these guys every Wednesday at 7 a.m. And when I leave at 8:30, I have 2 or 3 jobs. So I said, and then I wanted to do more networking. So I got more involved in the chamber instead of sitting back and spending my
checks,
$100 a year or whatever it was.
Right.
I got involved, and then here I am being the president, you know.
How can we're almost out of time, but very quickly, how can a small business today compete and be successful in the current business atmosphere?
Yeah, okay. Well, I think your personality is part of it. You can't be the kind of guy that likes to go to work and go home at 4:30. You know, you gotta. You're a business owner. You know what I'm saying. You have to have a burning desire. I think about
passion.
My business. Passion. I think about it day and night, 24 hours a day. I'm working in the middle of the night in my sleep. I always think about it. It never goes away.
Right.
And I do it because I love it. I love my business. I love what I'm doing. I love my customers. I love to serve them. I'm so happy. When their job comes out right, I'm happy, you know? And that's what you need. You need that passion. You need that burning desire. And if you don't have that, well, somebody else does. And they're going to take it right away from you. And you know what? When I do this networking and I get all invigorated, my customers pick up on that. You know?
Passion passion's contagious.
Right, it is.
And there's no question about it. We're going to have a conversation at another time about networking, because I think people out there would like to hear about networking and how one can be successful at it and what you're doing, because you're very good at it. But in the meantime, let's look forward to maybe once a month, like we did with you today, is spotlighting a business in Manhasset area for the Chamber of Commerce, and discussing it and talking about their business, not promoting their business, but just talking about it and what they do to inform. Because I learned things from you today that I just knew nothing about. I was never aware of a lot of these things. So I think it's just absolutely fabulous. Any last minute comments to make? We got about 30 seconds left. Any last minute comments about the chamber?
Well, I'm just thrilled to be on your show.
Oh, that's very kind. That's very
really,
kind.
This is great, and you're doing a great deed for the chamber, and I'm really here representing them. You know, I'm happy to talk about my business, all that well and good, but I want to talk about other businesses. I want to talk about the liquor store and the lawyers and the restaurants and everybody else that's involved in the chamber.
Right.
Because I think we're all connected.
Right.
And we can all do well together. Probably separately, if we all go our separate ways, it's risky.
Right. Absolutely, I agree with you. Les Forrai, co-president of Manhasset Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for coming down, and I'll see you Wednesday morning at that networking meeting.
Oh, very good.
All right, that'll be great, absolutely. And I will see you next time. Same time, next time, this station. Dr. Pass is saying, just like Les Forrai, whatever you do it with passion. Otherwise, what does it matter? So, again, next time, and my hat's off to you and all the hard work that you do. So long for now. Thanks for coming down.